Hey guys and fish fry, this is Lucian here with Fish Mafia. That fish you just saw swimming across the screen there was a clown killifish. It's also what I have breeding and laying eggs right now. So today I want to talk to you about spawning mops, some practical uses and some different techniques. Um, I'm going to show you those methods and techniques. Let's take a look at what's on the table. Okay, so we're back at the table here. Just going to show you some of my little methods here. Got a couple of strands already pre-cut. So y'all know, using green yarn, this is 100% acrylic. You need to use 100% acrylic yarn, because if you use something different that's a blend, it will degrade in your aquarium. So make sure it is 100% acrylic. I don't think the color matters much. I just buy the green because it's green. It looks like other plants I have in the aquarium, you know, like cryptocorn and nubius and things like that. So anyway, I'm going to tilt the camera down here and show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so I already have some pre-cut yarn here, just to show you what I do. And you can either use a cork or you can use a rock. Obviously, use the cork, it's going to float, and I use those more so for like rainbow fish. And I like to usually hang it not necessarily all the way down to the bottom of your tank, but I don't know, maybe, I don't know, let's say 8 inches or so down. And it really, obviously, I don't think it matters much. Some people hang it down all the way to the bottom of the gravel or substrate. Just I don't think you need to do that, but it's actually it's your choice. It's up to you on that. I don't with my red neon Pseudomugil luminatus, just because they spawn in the ones that I already have, and I'm getting a pretty good yield out of it. So anyway, here's the pre-cut strands that I have, and I'm going to show you the method with the book too. But if you want to just kind of take lengths that you feel are just somewhat equal, because you're going to trim it up at the end anyway, and just lay them, you know, set them down on a table or what have you, and just kind of show you the that technique there when I'm getting done. This is my technique here, where I just take them and split them. Looks like there's like 4 individual strands or strings within one strand of the yarn, and I just take them and pull them apart. And usually if you do it slow, it'll usually come all apart and just like that, and it's going to bundle back up. So then I take it and just pinch all 4 together at the top, and just kind of run your thumb and pointer finger across it and just kind of pull it tight a couple of times. So before you know it, you have quite a few of these like that. And do one more just to show you the technique one more time, and it's very simple if you got some lettuce and nails, but I think you just pinch it with your finger, your thumb and pointer finger. It's like that. Pull it. And there we go again. And then see how it kind of binds back up here. Just kind of pull it a couple of times. Some of them are a little more, take a little bit more extra work, but that's the method. And like I was saying, if you already have a mop that's already made with just like the regular strands that are all together, you can just, you know, as you're picking eggs, just kind of take the bundle off your sponge mop and just take the ends and pull them down all the way to your yarn ball, to wherever you have your your rock if you're sinking them, or your cork if you're floating them, and just pull them all the way to the top and just slow do it. It is very tedious and very time consuming, but I feel like when you do it like that, the little individual tiny fibers that are within these after you break them apart, I feel like they kind of catch and sort of cradle the eggs if they're falling. Because if you have like an individual strand like these here, there's not as many of those little tiny little fibers that stick out, and you got a fish that comes up, swims in, and it's closer to the bottom of your spawning mop. The eggs could just drop straight through the spawning mop and hit the substrate, and of course then it's lunch or dinner for whatever fish can fit the egg in its mouth. So anyway, so that's that method for the actual spawning mops. Like I said, it is a time consuming or tedious thing, but so far I've had some good luck with it. And the first night that I did that and just said, hey, let me try this, the next day after doing it, I went from averaging 4 to 3 eggs per like spawning mop. Granted, it could have just been me, but I tried that method and then went to this method here where I broke it up, and then literally the next day when I pulled the actual smaller spawning mop that I had sunk with a rock, I went from like 4 eggs on average, and I actually got like 15 to 16 eggs in just one shot. Now, could have just been they were more productive that day, but I think it does help, but could be personal opinion. So you guys give it a try and let me know if it changes anything on your yield when you're spawning, and just wanted to put that out there and see if maybe that's a beneficial thing to people that are using spawning mops to collect their eggs. So here's the other method, and you guys have probably already seen this, but I'm going to show it really quick one more time. With this method, instead of cutting it individual, so take one piece and just fold it over, and then that holds it, and then just wind and wind and wind until you get what you feel is a happy amount for you. Depending, obviously you want to probably go with more individual threads to the more fish you have that are in spawning. If you have if you're trying to do like colony spawning, you probably want to do a pretty thick one. I would say maybe like, I don't know, 30 to 50 strands, just depending on how many you have in there. This is where I'm at. I'm going to stop right here and go one more, and then I'm going to cut this here. Okay, then obviously I take these and pinch it, hold it right there, and then just use it, a little crease in the butt, hold them together, pull it, and you have that extra little strand there. Okay, and then what I do normally, and that should probably be pretty good, I had a strand that was already pre-cut there. Take one of those, and what I do is do like loop like so. Push your 2 ends through and keep it somewhat loose, so you can actually take these and kind of straighten them out a little bit, so that they're just pulled that tight. And so these are kind of somewhat close, which doesn't matter. Like I said, you can always go back and trim it up with the scissors. So there you go with that. And I'm going to open this back up and just do one. I always do one, just pull up and around and just do your regular simple knot. Pull it tight, because obviously it keeps the individual strands nice and tight in there. And then take a cork. This is a synthetic cork. I have not really used these or had much experience. I've actually used up all my regular corks, but most people say you probably want to use the regular corks. I mean, these may be okay. Maybe these won't break down since they're kind of synthetic. Maybe they'll be fine in your aquarium. But, you know, I don't know from experience with these, so I usually use the regular corks. But, so obviously you're going to take it and kind of find your, what I call them, tie-off strings. And look, I already lost them. There we go. So, all right, so that's those two right there. Take your cork. You can turn it this way. That way, I just feel like when you do it like this, it's kind of in line with the string. You're easier to catch the cork in the knot. And you know, like I said, don't go super tight at first. Kind of get it where it kind of sits in the middle. And bam, there's one. So now I'm pulling it somewhat tight. Then I'm going to go back under. And also one little thing that I do like to do, just so that you can find it again. Tie a quick little knot. So that way those, you know, are your tie-off ends. And a lot of times you may want to double it up depending on how thick of a mop you're doing, so they're just a little bit easier to, you know, pick through your individual yarns to find these, knowing that this is your tie-off. Because if you get one and then try to tie it off to something else and it's actually an individual strand that's through this, it might just pull straight through. So just showing you those. So there's my two, and I'm gonna do just a couple. I'm gonna do one more on this side. Just go straight through. And then, yeah, so obviously if you have more, and actually at this point I'm probably not gonna tie or make any more knots on this cork. So you just take it like so and do that. So obviously if you have more threads, it'll cover the cork a little bit better so you don't see it. But I'm just showing you the method, and that's just the simple one. So there's that. So that's pretty much, like I said, that's pretty much done. Then what I also do is grab one more strand, pretty decent size one, do the same thing with your loop on it. Just do that like so. And take it and just kind of sit the mop right on top of it, and there's the loop. See, loop's right there. Take it, push your two ends through, just like the other one, and then slowly, I like to kind of pinch the mop like this and kind of squeeze it pretty tight, and then take your two ends there and just pull it pretty good and tight. Take a wrap. I'm going to go around this way, the opposite direction, and then I'm going to do knots once again, and do these pretty snug. This is going to help also hold your individual strands in. And then I flipped it back around. Hopefully I didn't do that too fast for you guys, but there you go. And let's do one more for safekeeping, and you can make these part of your mop. You don't really have to clip those unless you really want to, and it's pretty good right there. And if you want to, like I said, you can either leave it like so and just let these kind of hang. It doesn't matter if you want to be aesthetic about it and just kind of clean it up and make it look neater. You can do that, but that's the spawning mop. And then obviously, like I said, that's why you probably want to do your breaking down to your springs, your individual yarn strands ahead of time, because otherwise this is what you're going to be doing with your pre-made. But it's totally up to you if you want to just make a whole other mop, or if you just want to take your existing ones and do that, because it works all the same. And you know, just kind of do 10 or 20, each time you take you're going to be checking your spline mops daily anyway. You could do it that way, and eventually have it so that it's like the it'll be all frizzled out, so that way these little individual fibers catch the eggs a little bit better. So that's it. That's the those are the little techniques and methods, which I said there's probably already seen some spawning mop videos that are already out there. Okay, so that's my take on the spawning mop method. I'm gonna put some footage here, like right on the end, just of my clown killifish and my rainbow fish. They're just in a 10-gallon, and that's where they're spawning at. So on these spawning mops, so you can kind of see the spawning mops in action in the water and see what they look like, so you guys get a better idea. It looks a lot different when you have it on a table here and you're just building them. So I just want to also give a quick shout out to Rachel O'Leary, Aquarium Co-op, and LRB Aquatics. They've inspired me to kind of start my own channel and hopefully provide you guys with some good information. I will probably do a follow-up video on this one, showing how I pick the eggs. Probably not as lengthy as this one, but just how I pick the eggs, and you've probably already seen some of those, but just can kind of show you the difference, since I do have two different kinds of fish that are breeding, and I can show you the difference in the egg sizes. And it's kind of different once you get a visual. If you're first starting and you don't know which one's which, especially if you have a community tank and they're breeding and all together. So once again, thanks to those folks that I mentioned. They're the reason why I kind of started my own channel here. Right now I'm going to bring my son over here, and I'm going to let Tim plug his channel. And thanks a lot, guys. This is Lucian with Fish Mafia, and I'll bring my son by and close it out.
Hello, I'm Joey from Joey TV, or just Joseph. Subscribe to Fish Mafia and Joey TV. If you have kids, Joey TV is a great channel. We do tons of stuff. We do from gaming to blind bag and blind box unveilings. We do tons of stuff. Shout out to Toby Fox. I know I'm just making a quick shout out because I love Undertale, Dad.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Well, like I said, I'm going to be putting some more videos out here soon. And like I said, the follow-up from this will probably be egg collecting. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And once again, this is Lucian with Fish Mafia.
And this is Joey with Joey TV. Peace.